On my 63rd birthday, Brainiac calculated that the world now contained almost 6 billion communists. Almost 6 billion citizens, and hardly anyone complained, even in private. The Batmen seem to be responding well to their new personalities, Brainiac. I think we can safely reintroduce them to society soon without any serious concerns.
A steady hand and some pioneering neurosurgery, and even the most persistent troublemakers can become productive workers, Comrade Superman.
What about America?
Still a war zone, unfortunately, and still refusing the aid packages we've offered them. Wouldn't it be more humane to just invade their shores and make them fall in line with the rest of the world?
Out of the question, old friend. America will fall like every other outdated world economy. All we have to do is wait and pick up the pieces. Of that much I was certain. All I had to do was bide my time and the whole world would finally be as perfect as God had intended it to be. It didn't occur to me for a moment what Luthor had been plotting in his lead-lined, soundproofed laboratory. President Luthor ceased trading with the rest of the world in January 2001 and created a strict internal market where he had absolute control over every dollar bill. By February, he had doubled the standard of living for every American citizen, and he doubled it again in March. But he wasn't doing this for the people. Lex Luthor couldn't stand the people. Like everything else in his miserable life, this was just the first stage in a master plan to finally eliminate me.
So, what makes you think he'll try to invade us?
Because Superman is a sick, totalitarian control freak, Jimmy. And for the first time in his life, things are going wrong. Invasion is the only realistic option he's got left, if he's serious about this perfect world he's always talked about.
But the second he invades, we're mashed potatoes, Lex. What makes you think you can go head-to-head with the guy now that he's more solar-charged than ever?
My indefatigable superiority complex, Olsen. Now shut up and take a deep breath.
Where the hell are we?
Purgatory, limbo, call it whatever you were raised to believe in. I myself refer to it as the Phantom Zone. This is where I can talk outside the limits of super hearing, and work beyond the range of those eerie cobalt eyes. Codename Green Light is the best hope we've had in almost half a century of knocking that big latex circus freak on his indestructible backside.
Surrendering that level of power to someone else sounds remarkably out of character for you, Chief. Why didn't you just hang on to the ring for yourself?
Because the stupid little trinket's powered by honesty and willpower, I'm sorry to say. That said, it didn't take long to find some noble idiot with the necessary qualifications. Do you remember Hal Jordan?
The name rings a bell. Wasn't he some kind of pilot?
Only one of the most decorated pilots in military history. You probably read the story about his plane going down in Malaysia back in 1983 when we were still trying to drive the communists out of the South Pacific. He was captured by the enemy, tortured every day, and fed on a diet of insects until he dropped to a skeletal 90 pounds. Any normal man would have lost his mind or died in the conditions Jordan endured. But he lasted 4 years like this, and it was all thanks to his incredible willpower. Under the correct circumstances, I really believe that Colonel Jordan has what it takes to bring Superman down by himself, Jimmy. But Jordan's only one of several surprises I've got up the sleeve of my $10,000 three-piece.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight.
Let those who worship evil's might
beware my power.
Green Lantern's light.
I can see now why your Secretary of State calls Themyscira Paradise Island, Your Highness. If the absence of men means the world can be this perfect, perhaps it's time we banned them from Metropolis, too. But surely there are some things you miss out there. After all, you and Superman were something of an item when you wore your high heels and called yourself Wonder Woman.
Superman had a clearness in his eyes which I thought separated him from the rest of his gender. But the truth is that he's just as dangerous and power-obsessed as any other male. A fact I regret that I learned to my cost some years ago. He's a very charismatic individual, and his apparent sincerity fooled me for a long time. If you've ever met him in the flesh, you'll understand how his skin almost crackles.
Oh, I understand perfectly, Your Highness. In fact, if I wasn't so happily married, I'd almost find him attractive myself.
I've often wondered why a woman of your character remains by the side of that hairless Machiavelli, Mrs. Luthor. It's quite clear that the only reason he even ran for president was to create a more effective platform from which he might ultimately destroy Superman.
Then the end justifies the means. For all we know, Roosevelt only ran for office because he liked skidding around the White House in a wheelchair. But he still beat Hitler, right?
Why did you come here, Mrs. Luthor?
To make sure Lex has your support when he launches his big attack on Superman inside the next 24 hours.
How could you do this, Brainiac? What kind of monster would trap an entire civilization inside a sample jar? It's the most grotesque thing I've ever seen. Failing to regrow these people has been the black spot of my career.
Perhaps, but our biggest concern at the moment should be events in North America. This is no longer a case of the one corner of the world where things didn't go to plan. The newly United States now pose a threat to everything you have ever accomplished, Superman. This is Luthor's ultimate death trap. He's spent almost 2 decades formulating this single assault, and my evidence suggests that things will be coming to a head shortly.
Any recommendations?
Strike first. Eliminate his power bases. Execute Luthor and complete the mission you started half a century ago.
But I don't want to invade them, Brainiac. Everything I've accomplished so far has been done by winning the argument.
If we attack now, I estimate a total of only 6.5 million dead, and a conflict lasting no more than 8 hours. However, every 30 minutes you delay the decision will approximately double the variables involved. Time is clearly of the essence here.
Unless, of course, you surrender immediately and drop the estimated fatalities to an aging Kryptonian despot and his cringing robotic manslave.
Luthor!
Tell me, is it true you and Brainiac spend every night of the week playing chess to stalemate until one of you breaks down and starts sobbing for Mother?
What are you doing here, Luthor? I thought you'd be busy priming your ultimate weapons for the big attack.
I came here to fight you on my own terms, Man of Steel. Are you ready to lock horns with the most dangerous mind in the world?
Brainiac, what the hell are you doing?
I couldn't allow him to debate with you, Superman. Entering a conversation with a level 9 intelligence is more dangerous than any death trap. My calculations were that he could have talked you into suicide within 14 minutes.
So that's it. This is how it all ends.
No, there's still the matter of the American forces preparing to attack Superman. But the decision is now quite simple. Do you meet aggression with aggression, or do you allow these people to take apart everything you've ever accomplished?
Green Lantern Corps, this is Colonel Hal Jordan. Maintain a speed of Mach 6 and pick an altitude where you aren't going to kill any birds.
Roger that, Colonel Jordan.
Brainiac, prepare the ship for a full-scale assault. You take the West Coast and I'll take the East. We can converge in Washington at 1600 hours and seize the White House together. Damn you for making me do this, Luthor! Damn you to hell, you lunatic!
Mayday! Unidentified flying object heading south-southwest at 6 times the speed of sound. Prepare for attack! Prepare for attack!
What? Superman!
Stay cool, gentlemen. Don't be intimidated. This is exactly what we trained for.
Like hell it is, sir! He's gonna kill us all!
Not in my lexicon, Raynor. Now shut up and think green thoughts.
What in God's name?
Remember the President's design, boys. This has got to be a box within an infinite number of boxes. Each layer should be 1 micron thin, so the entire structure is impossible to breach.
I can't hold it, sir. My mind's starting to wander.
So bite your lip and count to 10, Gardner. It doesn't matter what he's hitting us with here. You freak out now, and they'll be sipping vodkas in the Pentagon by sundown, soldier! Oh my god! Think fresh pictures! Think fresh... Huh?
A thought-based weapon against someone who can move at 10 times the speed of thought? Not too smart, Colonel Jordan.
Ground control to Wonder Women. Are you ready to engage?
Ready and willing, Commander.
Don't make me do this, Diana. I don't want to hurt you, but I will if I have to. Your choice, Princess! Diana, no!
Release all those supervillains Luthor created over the years. Just hit him with everything we've got!
I'm going to have to ask you to evacuate the area, Mrs. Luthor. I respect the fact that you're taking a stand like this, but we're destroying everything within a 5-mile radius of the Pentagon, and I don't want anyone hurt.
I'm sorry, Superman, but this is my home, and I'm not budging an inch.
America is finished. I'm afraid you don't have anything left to hit me with.
Actually, we've still got one shell left in our arsenal, Superman. If you think I'm kidding, just take a look at the letter in my inside pocket.
With the greatest respect, Mrs. Luthor, I hardly think a brown manila envelope is going to stop me in my tracks, even if it does have a presidential seal.
What am I doing? Well, they say the pen is mightier than the sword, Lois, so I'm distilling everything Superman hates and fears about himself into a single sentence.
Superman, are you okay?
Oh my God, what have I done? All I wanted was to put an end to all the wars and famines. I only wanted the best for everyone. You've got to believe me.
What the hell was in this letter?
Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman?
I'm just as bad as you were, Brainiac. I'm just another alien, bullying a less developed species, and it's morally unjustifiable. Switch off your weapon systems, comrade. We're going home.
But you can't stop now when you're on the brink of utopia, Superman. Denying them perfection is more morally corrupt than enforcing it.
At least leaving them alone means they can make their own mistakes again, comrade. Luthor's right. We weren't born here, and we've no right to interfere.
And that is your final decision? Is there nothing I can say which might change your mind on this matter?
Nothing, Brainiac. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm afraid that's just unacceptable, Man of Steel. Did you really think you could reprogram me, little thing? A level 12 intelligence? Did you really think I couldn't outmaneuver those clumsy human fingers? The notion is preposterous.
Help! For God's sake, somebody help him!
I wasn't under your command. You were under mine, Superman. Expanding and consuming country by country until an entire world ran to my ideals.
What happened to the power?
Cut off by those clumsy human fingers, he said he was adept at outmaneuvering, dear Lois. Letting me into the heart of this thing was his first mistake, darling. But the big one was underestimating the resourcefulness of the human mind. Your move, Superman.